Hey guys, Rich from Rich Mid Gaming. Hope everyone is doing fantastically well. And if you're watching this the day the video was released, happy May the 4th, happy Star Wars Day. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. And remember guys, today is the day that we are giving away that Star Wars Shatterpoint core box. So hang around until the end of the video and you can find out whether you are our lucky winner or not. Good luck to everyone. Right, welcome to episode 9, I believe, episode 9 of our beginner's guide. We've eventually got round to doing attacks. This was going to be 2 videos ago, 3 videos ago, but as I mentioned, when I started going through this, there were so many things that were important to know before we actually started making attacks that I wanted to do them as separate videos. So if you haven't watched the other ones, line of sight, cover, the combat tree, all those ones, make sure you go and watch those beforehand. It's worth just watching these from the beginning. This is our beginner's guide where we're taking the entire rulebook, putting it into video format, hopefully making it much easier for you guys to be able to jump in and start playing Star Wars Shatterpoint straight away when this game is released at the beginning of June. And I'm once again very much looking forward to getting my hands on that core box. But if you do want to see some gameplay, we have started playing some games, Quinn and myself. We did a live stream the other day. You can go check that out. And also, if you just go check out the Discord, there's plenty of people playing Shatterpoint on there now. So sometimes seeing these actually in action makes it, again, that even easier than watching them in video format. So let's jump over and talk about attacks. Attacks are obviously a huge part of this game. It's where the vast majority of abilities and things are going to come from. Yes, you've got abilities on your cards, but in terms of all the shoves and dishing out conditions and that sort of thing, there isn't really the option in Star Wars Shatterpoint to win without rolling dice. And whilst winning via attrition, so just taking people off the board, at least as we found, is pretty nigh on impossible, to do all the things that you need to do, making attacks is going to be a really big part of the game. So before we jump into actually making attacks, let's take a look at the different type of dice and what they are and what they do. So first of all, we have got our strikes. So on the 8-sided attack dice, so these attack dice, the grey ones, are 8-sided, you're going to get 3 strikes, and these are going to be successes that can be blocked. We've then got criticals. You're going to get 1 critical, so a 1 in 8 chance of rolling them on any die, and these are going to be successes that can't be blocked. We've then got attack expertise. Now you're going to get 2 of these on your 8-sided dice, and we'll talk about how we use these, but basically we use these on the unit's expertise card. And lastly is we've got the failure. You're going to get 2 of these on the dice. And these are not going to benefit you as an attacker. However, they could benefit the person that you are attacking. So that's attack dice. Let's have a quick look at defense dice. These are going to be D6s. So the first one is going to be a block. You're going to get 2 of these. So these can cancel strike results, but they cannot cancel critical results. We've then got expertise. Again, we're going to get 2 of these. These are defensive expertise. And again, we'll show you how these expertise work on the chart. And then lastly, we have got failures. Again, 2. Right now, there's no benefit, but in the future, there may be triggers that happens if your opponent rolls defensive failures. So now let's take a look at the 2 different types of attack in the game. So first of all, we've got ranged attacks that are denoted by this symbol here, the little blaster, and then we have melee attacks denoted by the lightsaber. So ranged attacks, what are the rules around ranged attacks and when we can and can't use them? So target must be within the character's attack range listed on the stance card, and we'll show you that when we go into it. Or if you've watched our previous video where we broke down the stance card and the combat trees and everything else like that, you can see that on there. You must have line of sight to target. Again, line of sight we covered in a previous video. And you cannot make a range attack whilst engaged with a non-wounded enemy character. You can, however, make a ranged attack into an enemy that is engaged. So I know there are some games out there, MESBG is the one that springs to my mind, where if you're the good characters, you can't shoot into combat, whereas bad characters can. There's none of that in Star Wars Shatterpoint. You can shoot anyone as long as you're not engaged with another enemy character. Again, that enemy character has to be non-wounded for it to count as being engaged. So, melee attacks. So that's the symbol there. So to make a melee attack, a character must be engaged with its target. Now, to be engaged, an enemy character must be within range 2. So we've got Anakin here, and then we've got Maul moving over. He's clearly within range 2, so Lord Maul, could make an attack there into Anakin. However, we spoke about elevation. Elevation plays a part when being engaged as well. So a character must also be at the same elevation as its target and, of course, have line of sight. So if Maul was down here at the bottom, even though he's within range 2, he couldn't make a melee attack against Anakin. Now, fortunately for Maul, he does have a ranged attack on one side of his card, so he could make a ranged attack, but he couldn't make a melee attack into Anakin, and Anakin couldn't make a melee attack into him. So let's go on to actually making an attack then. So the first thing that we need to do, and here we've got a Sarge coming up against Ahsoka. The first thing we need to do is take a look at the dice pools that we're going to be dealing with. So if you remember from the previous video, we've got the little 8 here, which is denoting the melee attack dice. It has to be melee for Asajj because she doesn't have access to any ranged attacks. And then if we go over to Ahsoka, we can see that she's going to be benefiting from 6 defense dice. So now we've got these 2 initial pools formed, we need to take a look and see if there's any way that we can add additional die into either of these pools. So let's start then with additional attack die. So right now, every single character in the game has access to focus. This is an action that they can take. So during the next attack made by each character in this unit, this activation, add 1 die to the attack roll. That's something that everybody has access to. However, there are some extra things that you can enable, or certain things that other characters have access to. The first one is going to be Impact X. When this character makes a focus action, it adds an additional X dice to its next melee attack. So if somebody had Impact 1, they make a focus, so they get the 1 extra die from the focus, plus they're going to get 1 extra die from their impact, so giving them 2 extra die in total. That's going to be for melee attacks only. However, there is the equivalent for range attacks, which is going to be Sharpshooter X. When this character makes a focus action, it adds an additional X die to its next range attacks, and it works in exactly the same way. So if this was Sharpshooter 2, for example, like Gar Saxon has, if he makes a focus, he gets the 1 from focus plus the 2 from Sharpshooter, giving him 3 extra die in total. There are, however, a couple of other ways in which you can gain additional die for attacks, and they're going to be found on a character's stat card. So, for example, if we take a look at Lord Maul, his identity ability, Sustained by Rage, states there that for every 3 damage this unit has, characters in this unit add 1 die to their melee attack rolls. For each injured token this unit has, characters in this unit add 3 dice to their melee attack rolls. So basically, Maul becomes more powerful the more damage he has taken. You then need to look at other characters around you on the board. So if we take a look at Kalani, for example, he has got his ability Target, Concentrate, All Firepower. When an allied battle droid character makes an attack, if the targeted character is within range 4 of 1 or more other allied battle droid characters, and you see battle droid there is in the bold, so we know that that's a keyword. We can find the keywords on the bottom of their cards. The attacking character adds 1 die to its attack roll. That's a global thing that you get within your strike team, as long as they have the battle droid tag. So one battle droid makes an attack. If there's somebody else in range that's a battle droid, that one's going to get one extra attack die, which is quite nice. I'd like to take a minute to thank the brand new sponsor of the channel, Loyalist Games. Loyalist are a great local gaming store in West Yorkshire. They stock all of your favourite MCP and Shatterpoint products, plus a huge range of other gaming systems. They also have an awesome gaming space where weekly events are held. We've already been running our MCP League that's coming into its 4th season. We've hosted a number of MCP events and we'll be doing so for Shatterpoint as well. So hopefully we can see you guys there at some of the events in the future. There'll be a link down in the description below, and if you're looking for a place to get all of your hobbying purchases at a great price, then look no further than Loyalist Games. Okay, so now we need to check to see if the targeted character is going to benefit from any additional defense die. So the first thing that we check is cover. So everyone can benefit cover from terrain. We did a whole video on that, so check to see if they meet the requirements for cover. Then hunker tokens, does the character have any hunker tokens on there? And then lastly is, do they have any reactive abilities that's going to let them gain any additional defense die? Now right now cover and hunker tokens, or not right now, but cover and hunker tokens only benefit ranged attacks. However, we did talk about it previously. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi, who does break the rules. He's not breaking the rules, but he's got his knowledge and defense ability that allows characters to retain those hunker tokens and gain one additional defense die for melee attacks. But for the purposes of this, we're not adding in any initial or any extra dice. So then we move on to rolling the initial dice pools. So starting as always, as we always do with the attacker, Asajj makes her roll pretty good. 3 crits, 3 strikes, 1 expertise and 1 failure. And then Ahsoka gets to make her defense roll. So she's going to roll 4 expertise, which is pretty good. I say like I'm surprised, like I didn't build this. 1 block and then 1 failure. So now we get on to the modification part of the attack. And as always, we always start with the attacker. So the attacker always goes first as well. So we take a look at the attack roll. And the first thing that we do is we have to consult any expertise rolls that we rolled. So we can see here that Asajj rolled 1 expertise. So we take a look at that twin lightsabers attack expertise. And we can see there that because she rolled 1, if we roll 1 to 3, which we have done, she's going to gain 1 extra crit and 1 extra strike. So we add those into her dice pool. So she's now got 10 dice in total that she's got access to. But there is other things that we could do with the die. So any other rerolls, things like that, anything that the attacking character has access to, either on their own card, or indeed if there's another character nearby that can give them some other support. As I mentioned, you know, rerolls, converting dice, that sort of thing. Asajj would get to do all of those before we move over to Ahsoka. In this one, she's got nothing else to do. So now it is Ahsoka's turn to modify that attack roll. And once again, we start with the expertise. So she rolled 4 expertise, so we get to consult the 4+1 there. So we ignore everything at the moment on there other than that little orange symbol, which shows turning a crit into a strike. Now, why is that important? Well, basically, if we remember, we cannot block critical rolls, but we can block strikes. So by converting one of those crits into a strike, it gives us 1 extra success that we can potentially block. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to take the crit that she has rolled, and we're going to convert that into a strike. And once again, there's an opportunity here for Ahsoka, if she had access to any other dice modification, maybe she could force maybe she could force Asajj, to re-roll some dice or something like that. That would all be done here. And once all that was done, we would move on to modifying the defense roll. Now again, we always start with the attacking character, but if we look at Asajj and what she's got access to, she doesn't have any dice modification when she is attacking. So we pass that and we move over to Ahsoka. once again, consulting these 4 expertise that we have there. And we can see that if we look at the chart again, that 4 expertise is going to give her 2 additional blocks. So we get to add 2 blocks into her final roll. Now, once we've done all of that, and again, re-rolls and things like that, this would be the opportunity for Ahsoka to use any other dice modifications she had on her own roll. But once we've done all of that, we need to then determine the results. So how do we determine results? Well, we take a look at all of the blocks that were rolled by the defending character, and we remove strikes equaling to the number of blocks, remembering that we cannot remove crits from the attack roll itself. So we've got these 3 blocks here. At this point, the expertise, the failures, things like that, they're not adding anything else in right now during the attack. So we take the 3 blocks, and that's going to allow us to remove 3 successes from Asajj there, leaving her with 3 crits and 2 strikes, giving her 5 successes in total. And this is where we go over then and we consult the combat tree. So how does the combat tree work? Well, this part of the stance card is the combat tree. And if you remember, we did a previous video on it showing you how it worked. But we've got our 5 successes here. We've got our 2 potential starting points. So Asajj does have 2 orange options. So she can choose to either go along the top path or along the bottom path. Well, Asajj is actually going to go along the bottom path. We think that maybe adding in all of these extra conditions to Ahsoka could potentially be more powerful than actually just going for pure damage. So for each success that we have got, we get to add in, or we get to move along the tree 1. So the first one is then going to put 1 damage into the damage pool. This damage isn't being applied yet to Ahsoka. And we keep moving along the tree, adding that damage in as we go along. So as we move along those 5, we can see there that we've got 4 damage in the damage pool. However, there are things that we need to resolve before we actually apply that damage. So let's talk about applying effects. Okay, so we've got our 5 successes on Asajj's tree. We've got our damage pool here that we've already got, we've already put in there. But before we do anything with that, we need to take a look at what we're going to be applying. So if we start off, we can see that the first effect that we're going to be applying is actually going to be the strain condition. Then we can apply the disarm condition. Then we can apply the expose condition. Now, we have to resolve these in order. You can't jump around the tree or anything like that, so they have to be applied in order. It doesn't matter too much for this one, but when we start getting into personal effects, so if we look at Ahsoka's tree, for example, she's got shoves and jumps and things like that. You have to resolve each one of those in turn. And it will become apparent why it's important, but they have to be done in turn. There's one extra thing on there that we do get access to as well, which is the action ability, or the active ability there. We'll come to that when we get towards the end of this. That's something that we do at the very, very end. So now we've applied all those effects, it's time to apply the damage. So we've got our damage here. So we've got our little damage pool. And right now we would just move that over and put it onto Ahsoka's character card like we have done there. However, there is now a window of opportunity for Ahsoka to use her reactive ability, What's the Matter, too fast for you. Now, this is going to cost her 2 force power. However, when a character in this unit would suffer damage from a melee attack, well, that's a tick box, this unit may use this ability. This unit suffers half the damage in the damage pool. The attacking character suffers the remaining damage. So actually, she's going to spend that 2 force power, and she's going to take 2 of that damage and push it back over to Asajj. We've played some games. It's a absolutely stonkingly stupid ability. It's really, really good. Ahsoka is definitely up there for me. The core box is one of the best primaries in the game right now. However, has Ahsoka made a grave mistake? Because she has used a reactive ability. And if we remember from the previous video, using a reactive ability, once it's fully resolved, will trigger that strain. And this is why it's important that we get the timing right, because these conditions have gone on there before Ahsoka basically used this ability. If we got it the wrong way around, she wouldn't suffer the damage, but she has used it, so she is going to suffer that 3 damage from the strain. Now, you probably wouldn't do this in a game because you wouldn't want to suffer the damage, but just for the purposes of this, we're just sort of showing you the timing and how that works. So we're now left, we've got Ahsoka with the 5 damage and the 2 damage. She's taken that strain, so she's got the 3 damage from it, so that strain is removed from her card. Now that's all the direct effects that have been applied to Ahsoka, and we've applied the damage pool. So now it's time to take a look at that active ability that we got from Ahsoka's tree. So we can see it there. So let's take a quick look at her character card, and we can look at the 2 active abilities that Asajj has access to. So she's got Dathomirian Dexterity, which allows her to make a jump, and she has got a Force Push. Now, it's important to note with an active ability, we did cover this off in the previous video, even if it's coming from the tree, if we'd already used Force Push once this turn, we wouldn't be able to use that again. So it doesn't allow you to use an ability more times than you could. However, if you haven't used it, you do not need to pay the force power for it, which is really, really nice. I managed to trigger this quite a few times against Quinn when I was playing games with him yesterday and the day before. It's stupidly powerful, especially when you are getting it completely for free. The other thing to note is that using your active ability is completely separate to the targeted character. So whilst we do have Ahsoka there, we do not have to target Ahsoka with the Force Push. And actually, what we're going to do is choose to target Anakin with that Force Push instead. So we're going to use that Force Push. We're going to push Anakin out of the way. We've resolved that part of it. That's the final part. And now we're going to get into the after effects. So after effects are basically all the things that happen once the damage pool has been applied and all the other sort of active abilities have been taken care of. So the first thing that we need to do is consult once again what after effects Asajj Ventress has access to. Well, we look at her expertise and we have nothing there to do. On her character card, she's got no reactive abilities that allow her to do anything after making an attack. So she has no other after effect abilities to take care of. However, if we do take a look at the acrobatics defense expertise on Ahsoka's card, you can see there that she's got 2 other things that she can resolve. So first of all, she's got the jump. So she can choose to make a jump using that short range tool, that short movement tool, which is really nice because it means that she can actually disengage herself. Remember, we can use jump whilst we are engaged, so she can get out of combat range. Or indeed, if we had chosen to force push Ahsoka, she would maybe be able to jump back onto a point, meaning that she was still contesting it, maybe denying some very, very precious VPs to the dark side of the team. And then we get to make 1 heal. That's a little symbol there at the end. Now a heal, we can choose to either remove 1 point of damage or remove 1 special condition from either ourselves or any other allied character within range 2. Well, Ahsoka doesn't like the idea of being exposed and not getting those defensive roles, those defensive expertise during her next defense. So she's going to choose to remove that, and that really is then the combat completely finished. So we've got characters that have been pushed, we've got damage that's been done from left and right. Ahsoka's ended up with a condition on her there, disarm, but you get the idea that there's so much going on when you're making these attacks during Star Wars Shatterpoint, the back and the forth and the way in which things trigger and happen, that it's really, really important to make sure that you do get that timing absolutely right. I would recommend making sure that you do consult the timing chart as well, just to make sure that you're doing things in the right order. But, you know, key rules are to remember that the attacker will always go first. They always resolve everything. So we form the dice pool, roll the dice, modify the dice, and then any after effects. Remembering again that the attacker always goes first, which is good for the attacker, but can also be good for the defender sometimes as well. You know, Ahsoka may have been able to jump back onto a point there, and as I mentioned, stop Asajj from scoring some VPs. Hopefully you found this series useful so far, guys. I've had some really, really positive feedback from you all, and it feels like they have been really well received. So thank you so much for your support. Thank you to everyone that subscribed, liked the videos, shared the videos, all these things. It really, really does help. And big, massive shout out to all of our Patreons as well. And if you want to be part of the Patreon crew and help support these videos, you can do for as little as £1 a month. However, and I did just forget, we have one more thing to do. It is May the 4th today, so it's time to take a look and see who is going to be the winner of our Star Wars Shatterpoint giveaway. So let's jump over to the random comment picker and we'll go and pick a lucky winner. So good luck to everyone. Okay guys, so I have picked the video, and as we did allude to in one of them, Quinn kind of gave it away. We were always going to pick the tier list video that we did way back when. We had so much fun recording that video. So if you did leave a comment on that video, you are within a chance. What am I using here? This is just commentpicker.com. I've loaded the video up. It's going to take a look at all the comments that were on there, and it will pick one at random. So I'll press the start button. Good luck to everyone. Good luck to everyone. Who's it going to be? It is going to be Talamar, and he just says fun stuff. So Talamar, hit me up on the about page of the channel. You can message me on Discord, message me on Facebook, whatever it is. But you are the lucky winner of our Star Wars Shatterpoint core box. Let me know where you live, whereabouts you are in the world, and we'll work out the best way of being able to get that box to you. We can either do it via PayPal, or we can buy the box and have it sent to you, but there's no point in me shipping from the UK. If you're in Australia, for example, it'll just take forever to get there, so we'll work out how to do it. And rest assured guys, we are going to be doing more giveaways as we do more videos. And as the channel grows, we're nearly at the 5,000 subscriber mark, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but we are going to be doing something very special for that 5,000 subscriber mark. We're probably going to be doing another one of our charity events, so keep an eye out for that. Guys, as I mentioned, if you could leave a like on the video, it really does help. Subscribe, do all the usual stuff. We've already mentioned the Patreon. Discord is up and running. It's completely free to join. There's a dedicated Shatterpoint sort of part on there as well, so go check that out. And keep an eye on the video. We're going to be doing more and more videos. I think we've got one more to do in the beginner's guide. We're going to talk all about taking wounds and injured and what that means, and that'll be rounding out the beginner's guide. But let me know down in the comment section below if there's anything else you would like me to put into video format that may just help clarify some things in the game. As I mentioned, keep an eye out both on Discord and on the channel as well, because we are doing some live playthroughs now of Star Wars Shatterpoint. And as always guys, it leaves me with just enough time to say stay well, keep safe, and until next time, may the Force be with you.